Hello and welcome to the PlanetDestiny Exotic Weapon Review. My name is Patrick Casey and today we will be reviewing the new PlayStation exclusive exotic, the Fourth Horseman. First of all, I would like to thank Dexterity NL for allowing us to use their account to get a real solid feel for this weapon. I actually got to level it up a little bit and then do a bunch of games. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's get into the review here. The Fourth Horseman is an arc damage exotic shotgun exclusive to PlayStation. To acquire this, you must get lucky in PvE or PvP or get rewarded from an engram. Xur will most likely not sell this item similar to the other exclusive exotics, at least until, they become available on Xbox. This shotgun holds 5 in the magazine and has the fastest fire rate and highest starting stability among exotic shotguns. The good things: this gun's fire rate is exceedingly high. In fact, it's the fastest fire rate of any shotgun in the game. It will empty its magazine in 1.5 seconds, allowing for some incredibly high burst damage at close range. The final round and return to sender perks work really well together when the return to sender perk actually works. This often enables you to chain some bonus damage shots, and it just works really well when there's multiple mobs in PvE. The final round perk actually comes into effect a lot with this gun because of its fast fire rate. Without realizing it, you can easily empty the mag on something and not realize it until they just fall over, usually due to the last round's increased damage. Now let's get into the bad things. This gun's stats and perks really are just all over the place. This gun has a starting range of 5 out of 100. I know shotguns are only really supposed to be used in close ranges, but this low range means you're really only going to be using this thing successfully in whisper range of people. To counteract this low range, you can get the second or third muzzle upgrades, which allow for increased range and impact. But this will come at a cost to your stability. Due to the high fire rate of the gun, the stability is very important to make sure you land your shots. The reload speed is also horribly low, starting out at 16. Again, its high fire rate works against it here. You'll usually end up emptying the magazine, killing 1 to 2 targets in PvP, which is fine, as long as there isn't a third target. In PvP, this just leaves you scrambling around trying to frantically reload your weapon with at least 2 shots to guarantee a kill on someone that's coming around the corner. While you can get an increase to the reload perk in the second tier, this will mean you miss out on the extra stability or the increased range. Use that to, just hit things that are outside of that closest of closest range. You see what I mean about the perks kind of going all over the place? While other exotics like Hawkmoon or Suros have a logical perk progression with logical personal choices that don't hurt the overall experience of the weapon, the Fourth Horseman just requires you to invest all in one stat and sacrifice everything else on the weapon. If you want more range so you can actually stand a chance of killing something outside of whisper range, then your stability and reload are going to greatly suffer. Same thing goes for other stats: range, stability, reload. You're gonna have to pick one, and there are no real compromises. This gun's only real redeeming features comes from its cosmetics. It does have that going for it in spades. It has a very steampunk design quality to it, with its intricate carvings on the metal and a worn wooden handle stock. The sound is also very unique. It kind of reminds me of hitting the open end of a large PVC pipe. It echoes in a strange but very satisfying way. The sight is also extremely easy to use. I know shotguns don't really need to make use of their sight because you're pretty much going to be hip firing them, but this one has me using it pretty constantly due to its simplicity. It reminds me of the sights you would see on an old World War II era fighter plane or something. Alright, let's take a look at some of the perks here for the Fourth Horseman. The first perk, Thunderer, this weapon can be fired in full auto mode. This really makes the weapon due to its high fire rate. Also has arc damage. CQB ballistics, greatly reduced recoil, significant penalty to range. This is the one that you're going to start out with, and honestly, I think this is the one that I end up using the most when I was trying all the various modes of the weapon, trying to find something that worked for me. The next one here, Accurized ballistics, more range and impact, increased recoil. This will about double the starting range, but it's a massive reduction to stability. I didn't like using this one that much just because it became very hard to hit something when firing in full auto. And really, you have to fire this weapon in full auto to make full use of it because of the low range and kind of low impact as well. Field Choke, more range and impact, increased recoil. This will further increase the range and further decrease the stability. I ended up not using this one. I just went with accurized ballistics in the tree, and that was a little bit easier to control. And all these perks, while I can give my recommendations on these, you're really gonna have to try them for yourself, find what works for you. These trees are all over the place, as I previously said. Final round. The last round in a magazine deals bonus damage. I really like this perk because you usually empty the magazine, so you pretty consistently get that last round perk. Then we have Fitted Stock, increased weapon stability. Baseline, it'll give you completely max stability, which is, wow, like this thing has no recoil, but then at the same time, it has pretty much no range when you use that. So yeah, while you can fire a laser beam with this thing, you're only going to be able to hit someone at the absolute closest range. So what I ended up doing, I ended up going with hand loaded. It increased the range a fairly large amount and made the weapon just a little bit easier to use overall. I wasn't having to get as close. I was able to actually, get some kills from slightly further away. Then we have speed reload. This reload is very, very low off the bat. Some people might prefer to go for this. If you go with speed reload, you'll probably end up going for accurized ballistics. And when you look at that tree right there, the stats are okay on it, but there's just numerous other shotguns that are better than that, and you're not having to sacrifice all these other stats to try to make reload better. Then we have Return to Sender. Kills with this weapon grant bonus ammo directly to the magazine. I like this perk when it works. It's only a 25% chance on each kill. So, if it takes you 2 shots, it might not actually trigger. And you might go an entire magazine of killing things without it actually triggering. I really feel that this needs to be changed to 100% on this weapon. Make it a special perk called the Fourth Horseman or something, and make it return 1 round every time you grant a kill. I feel that would be much more solid than this perk, as relying on RNG with a weapon that can't be used outside of the closest of ranges just isn't that good. In conclusion, this gun, aside from its cosmetics, just doesn't feel like an exotic. The Return to Sender perk needs to be reworked to happen 100% of the time, as 25% on each kill simply means you might happen to get 1 round returned out of every 4 kills. You end up going all in on one stat and just letting the others fall to the wayside. The overall experience of using this gun simply feels punishing to the user. Unless this gun gets some reworks in the future, I just simply cannot recommend that you spend any amount of time leveling this. Even when it's fully upgraded, it just fails in all areas compared to Invective and Found Verdict, which are just much easier to obtain and use. I hope you enjoyed this review. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny.